All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we've got the Area 51 Racing League Super Speedway, 87 Cup Series at the Super Speedway of Talladega this evening. So you've got the standings here up in front of us right now. Our points leader James Ledford by 5 over Eric Schaus, and we've got 9 points ahead of Todd Merkles. Those top three very close in the points. A little further back, you've got Dwight Plush, Josh Sichterman. I say it's a really tight battle here right behind them, though you can see it there. Michael Spell, Chad Wilkes, Robbie Richards are all right together. So say still a lot can happen here. Again, we're only on race. This will be race number 5 of the scheduled 12. So yeah, a lot can happen here. Of course, here at Talladega as well, there's a lot that can happen. So drivers just, I think, finishing up their qualifying laps. And so in just a moment, we'll get things started to get the grid pulled up. So again, want to welcome you all to Green White Checkered TV. Hope you're all having a wonderful evening tonight. And yeah, looking forward to 75 laps here at Talladega. Not a huge field right now showing around. I think it's going to be like 10, 12 cars, somewhere in that range. So I think we might see a lot of strategy on this one tonight, to figuring out when to make some pit stops, things like that. It's like I could see this one definitely being a longer green run this evening. Alright, so let's pull up our starting grid for the race this evening. On the pole position, you have our points leader James Ledford, Eric Schaus in second, Josh Sichterman in third. Charles Johnson in third, Josh Sichterman in fourth, Chad Wilkes in fifth, Len McNeese in sixth, Ted Decker Jr. in seventh, and then Kendon Kolakowski in the 8th position. And then the remainder of the field here, you've got the 8 of Dude Conrad in 9th, the 44 of Dwight Plush in 10th, Michael Spell in 11th. It shows Jim Brooks there in 12th. Unfortunately, I think he's having some computer difficulty, so I don't think he'll be in the field this evening. So like I said, it's about that 10-11 cars looks like for this evening's race. So it's going to definitely let these drivers have some more room to work with. With these cars, not a bad thing to say the least, because again, we talked about how much of a handful these cars are. So that being said, though, our points leader are going to start on the pole position. Definitely going to be the way to kind of get things kicked off for him is what he's going to be hoping for tonight. So yeah, so just waiting for timer to kind of tick all the way down, and then we'll get things going here at Talladega. Alright, see the pace cars rolling, so the field's going to get going here. So yeah, so again, as we talk about, the key thing we're going to see on this initial start, of course, is going to be these drivers able to get through the gears quickly and efficiently. Really easy to miss the shifts on these cars. However, they are able to get really big momentum with the draft in these cars. So even if you're a little bit out of the draft, you'll be able to really chase them down. Up front, of course, the other thing you have to be careful about, the brakes on these cars are not very good, to say the least. So they're going to have to also keep an eye on, which most likely we'll see some green flag pit stops. They're going to have to be extremely careful and make sure they get these cars woed down. So so there's going to be a lot for these drivers to kind of keep in mind here. You see, it looks like Charles Johnson might be rolling to the back here to start things off. So say again, right now our front row is that 48 of James Ledford, Eric Schaus in second. Again, we mentioned the point standings. We'll pull them up here again real quick here, so you can see actually those are the top 2 in points, are the top 2 on the grid here. Unfortunately, does not look like doesn't look like Todd Merkles in the race this evening, so that's gonna knock him down the running order a little bit. So that's going to definitely be an advantage there, though, for like Dwight Plush, Josh Sichtrom, and Michael Spell. They'll definitely be able to move up Chad Wilkes as well. So we'll definitely see some points shake up after this evening's race. Alright, so you can see that pace car pull in here. Driver's going to go around the tri-oval, wait for that green flag to fly, and we will get underway here in just a moment. So again, this was race number 5 of 12, so just about at the halfway point of the season. So again, I'd say this is definitely one where there's going to be some drivers that can really make some big gains in the points, with a few drivers towards the front not in the field this evening. And of course, being Talladega, you never know how it's going to go, but we are underway. Green flag is out. Pretty even start here with our top 2. You can see for the most part everybody is pretty much still right together here in line, and we'll see, of course, with that draft you'll see all these drivers pull right back up together. So right now you've got Eric Schaus to the outside of that 48 car. James Ledford is going to see if he can get, I think that's going to be the first goal, is to try to get a lap lead. And of course the other thing you can do here is, especially with a race like this where the field's a little bit smaller, you can really try to take advantage of trying to get a clean race, have no incident points, and be able to gain a couple bonus points for having a clean race this evening. Oh, you see that 72 get really close to the 48 there off of turn number 4. So it's going to be a drag race through the tri-oval here. We talked about how the tri-oval is also a little bit sketchy, so they have to be careful. They get right door to door, almost made contact at the line. Couldn't even tell who got the lead there at the line. I believe it may have been James Ledford. You see a little bit of movement here going on a little bit further back. See Josh Sichterman getting to the top side. He gets loose on the entry. We've seen that happen a lot here. So that top line, for whatever reason, really wants to let that car step out. So that's going to be something that they're going to have to kind of be careful about as this run goes on. Eric Schaus again, though, going to jump to the top of that 48, try to see if maybe he can get a lead on this lap this time around, but looks like at the line, just barely. I think James Ledford holds on to that lead there that second time around. So these guys definitely putting on a good battle. As you see right there, that 199 Josh Sichterman puts down the fastest lap of the race so far this evening. So again, though, these drivers are definitely pretty much feels like they're kind of just letting it hang out right now. I kind of thought they'd take it easy, but they're going after it right now. So I say, well, again, we'll have to be careful of these drivers, make sure they don't get loose. Let's say keep watching, get a little bit squirrely there out of, oh, you see actually the 48 looks like he may have got loose there, and he's got to the apron. He saves it. He's going to obviously lose all the track position he had, but he should be able to grab onto the draft here and get back moving forward. So that's going to give the advantage now to Eric Schaus, who will lead this lap. So give a lap lead to that number 72 machine. Right in these top 3 snuck away just a little bit over Ted Decker Jr. Not by much by any means, but so definitely a little bit of breathing room for those guys. And so we'll keep an eye as well on James Ledford to see if he's able to kind of hang on to that draft and try to chase these leaders back down. So again, now you see that 199 running side by side with that number 17 car. So that is for the second position right now, pretty much even as they go enter the tri-oval here again. Saying again, the tri-oval is definitely, with these cars, you still have to kind of throw these things around again, less banking. These things again just slide so much, so it's not as easy of a turn as you might normally expect it to be. But again, these drivers definitely doing a really good job. You see now Charles Johnson puts down the fastest lap of the race as he regains the draft of this group. He's right back up there with them. Ted Decker, you see, is in that mix as well. I'm still watching James Ledford. He's not out of it yet. He's losing a little bit of ground, but as things kind of, as they keep battling here, I think James could grab back onto the lead pack here. Yeah, a lot of dicing around going on right now. Again, still early on here, only on lap number 5, coming around to lap number 6. As you see him sliding it through the travel one more time here. So I'll say, it's good to see you on here. Ferndog, hopefully you're enjoying the race. Again, love seeing you guys here cheering on your driver there, Josh, in the 199. Rachel, also great to see you on as well. Say, I'm glad to see your sister's able to visit there. Say, hope you guys are having a good time and watching. Say, I'm also born and raised in Arizona, so hopefully you guys have some better weather than we do right now, because it is toasty. Say right now, Eric's still leading the way in that number 72. We're going to go on the back bumper of that 72 car. You're going to see a mirror full of that 17. So as I say, that's all you can see right now. You can see as he slides up a little bit, you got the 199 though as well right there. But like I said, all you can really see is that 17 of Chad Wilkes here, just keeping the pressure definitely on that 72 car right now as they go through the backstretch. We're on lap number 7 of 75. As I say, that looks like 17 takes a peek, decides not to go for it at the moment. I say, but definitely they're starting to have some pretty close racing here up front still. Looks like Chad's pretty content on staying right behind that 72 car. But again, I say we've seen a lot though that 189 Josh Sichterman, he really seems to prefer running that top side. I think that momentum works well for him in that 189 car. So we'll see if that comes into play as well. And the other driver that's kind of right here in the mix at the moment is that 084 Len McNeese in that Western Auto Paint scheme. Say, as I said, I saw the 199 get loose. He saves it. Definitely a moment there for him, able to hang on to it though, and so he's going to hang on just to lose a little bit of momentum. As you see, the 14 there catches the wall a little bit off of the exit of 2. That was Kenny Kolakowski. He's going to lose a little bit of momentum here, but it looks like he should be also in pretty good shape. You see, he's got a few cars still right behind him. You see James Ledford, he's back in this mix as well. He's caught back up to the lead draft as well. So still a lot of cars, again, still in contention here as we're still early on in this race. Lap 8 coming around to lap number 9. Jack, I wish you were here, man. I'll say they would have loved to have a bright yellow Pennzoil car. Hopefully you're enjoying your evening off. Say definitely look forward to catching you here, hopefully again tomorrow evening. But again, I say right now these guys still going at it early on in this race at Talladega. Again, still really early on. Say we're on lap number 9 now. The question, of course, is going to be the fuel mileage as well. It's going to be something we'll have to keep an eye on for these drivers to see how they're able to, how they're going to kind of use the strategy here. Again, just with as long as pit stops are, with the 20-ish seconds pit stops, I think that could really come into the play to see how things shake out there too. So we'll see if anybody does some 2 tires, fuel only, anything like that. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on how everybody does there. Glad to see you on here, Todd. I wish you were racing. I say, unfortunately, sometimes you gotta business things like that. Those kind of force your hand. So, sorry to see you miss the race this evening, but again, look forward to definitely catching you again soon. So, hopefully your trip goes well, and then get you back home, back online, and back in the driver's seat here soon. You can hear the tires squealing from these guys just sending it into turn number 3. And you see also that 199 of Josh Sichterman all over that back bumper of Charles Johnson. I think he's going to try to push that 28 to the front here. So this is going to be the first kind of challenge we've really seen for that 72 of Eric Schaus. Is that number 20 of Charles Johnson at the line? I think Eric still hangs onto that lead. You can see actually Charles has a little bit of right side damage on that car, front and rear as well, but not really affecting it too much right now. Doing a really good job here. Hanging on to that top line to say again has some drafting help behind him with that 189. As I say that though, he jumps to the bottom. It's going to hang that 28 car out a little bit. So I'll say we'll see if Josh is able to jump back into that 3rd position as the leaders still stay nose to tail here. And you see Charles gets a little high there off of turn 3 and 4. It looks like he's going to hang on to it as well, but indeed is going to move Josh back up into that 3rd position. And then now moving up, kind of sneaking his way in a little bit is Dude Conrad. We haven't talked about him too much yet, but he's now right here in the mix as well, up into that 4th position. And it's saying, it's like he's got a I want to say that's Mike Tyson on the back of his car there. Let's see if Ted Decker Jr. can help us out and take a closer look at that, the back bumper of that number 8 machine here. Oh, he's actually going to try to pass that 8 car, so I'm going to throw off our plans here. So instead, we'll switch over to that 084, and he's right on the back bumper now of that car. Let's see if we can get a better look from here once we get out of that sun. As I say that, though, they're all over the place here. Going out of turn number 4, everybody's dicing for positions right now. Looks like the 8's going to hang on to it, but you see there, 79 Ted Decker, Charles Johnson, they're all shuffling around. However, up front, again, a new challenger up front. Josh Sickman going to try to see if he can get that lead on the high side. Oh, as I say that, they get loose contact. Oh, no. Josh on his side, able to actually keep it pointed in the right direction and stays, somehow actually we stay caution free. So we're still under green here. I say Josh definitely not going to be in a good spot there. Just got loose there in 1 and 2. That top side is just, it's really dangerous here at Talladega for whatever reason. So yeah, so unfortunately for Josh, it's going to put him all the way back in the running order. So I'll, have to see, I'll keep an eye and see if he's going to make any pit stops here to try to maybe get a fast repair done and get back out on track again. These drivers do have the 2 fast repairs. I say maybe he can do a little bit of a split strategy here to try to help his cause. So I'm watching that 199 right now. It looks like he is slowing for the pits. So I think, yep, 199 is on the pit road right now. So we'll see if this could still come into play. Maybe do a little bit of strategy here. See maybe he, let's say, almost call it a short pit, if you will. We saw it actually happen a little bit last night in the Watkins Glen race with these Indy cars. And also you can see these guys are starting to really kind of wrestle these cars around here, coming out of turn 2 onto the backstretch. Obviously Charles Johnson here in 3rd in a close battle there with the 79 of Ted Decker Jr. as they run door to door here for that 3rd position. Right behind them, Len McNeese. Oh, big slide there for that 28 car through the tri-oval. Looks like he hangs on to it. But again, though, still up front, though, and there goes that 199 car. So they're going to put him a lap down. However, I say probably used a fast repair on that 199 machine. So his goal now is just going to be try to kind of let things cycle back through and do what he can here. But here again, up front, another battle for the lead. Charles Johnson going to try to see if he can make this top side happen. And yeah, Robin definitely can. I say, like I said, just say your driver here in that number 72, Eric Schaus, still holding onto the lead for the moment. So again, hope you're having a wonderful trip, or I don't know. I said I'm not sure if it's for vacation or what it is, but I say I hope you're enjoying your time away from Arizona. Like I said, I'm sure, as you're well aware, it is very hot here. Haven't got the monsoons like we've been hoping for. But oh no, Charles Johnson, as I say that, he gets loose off the and 72 going to have a blow over there. So Eric Schaus, unfortunately, I say, as we're talking about that, I say he goes on his lid. Now the goal for him is if he can stay on his wheels. He does. That's going to at least allow him to drive back to the pits and get a fast repair done. You can also see Chad Wilkes has some pretty heavy damage, some motor damage in that 17. We saw Charles Johnson as well with some motor damage to that 28 machine. So, oh man, that was a wild one there. I say beneficiary of that's probably going to be, hopefully going to be Josh Sichterman. Hopefully wasn't involved and can get a lap back from that. Let's go ahead and see how this all happened. Looked like the 28 may have just got loose there out of the tri-oval from where I was watching there. And as again, we talked about how that tri-oval is definitely a sketchy place on the track here. So you see that 28 car on the top side, and yeah, you see him start sliding up. You can see just the back end start stepping out, and unfortunately, just nothing the 72 and the 17 can do here. He's going to make contact with the 2 of them. Looks like it's going to send the 17 to the inside wall. We saw the 72 actually say these cars do not have roof flaps, so he's going to actually wind up blowing up and over there right in front of Jude Conrad, and as well as the 88 of Michael Spell. And the 17 of Chad Wilkes looks like he made some heavy contact there with that inside wall. So he was trying to hang on to it here. You can see the wheel cranked to the right, trying to get it pointed back in the right direction. But unfortunately, that slide just would not stop and makes that heavy inside wall contact there. So that will actually put us under the first caution of the race. And I believe that's going to put the lead into the hands of that 79 of Ted Decker Jr. And so we're waiting for the rest of the field here to kind of get caught back up here. So I want to take a peek at that 199 car, make sure it looks like that car is looking pretty clean. So I think Josh might still be in good shape. So his hope is he's going to hopefully get that wave around and get back onto the lead lap. But even if he doesn't here, I'll say he'll be able to stay out and take a wave around. So we'll keep an eye on that. But as I said, here come the leaders into the pits. Let's jump over to that 199 car as well. See if once he gets to the line, I think that's when they'll wave him around. So let's keep an eye on these pit stops here. You can see a little bit of damage to that 084 as well, and the 14. Looks like they're going to keep the damage on, maybe just try to get it fixed manually here. As you see the 8 and the 79 come out of the pits. Looks like Dude Conrad's going to jump to the lead here after this pit stop cycle. And you see that 199, Josh Stickerman, he did get that wave around, so he is back on the lead lap as well. I'll say right now it's showing Eric Schaus as our leader. I think he went ahead and pitted before the pit road was open, so he'll probably have to fall to the back here. However, though, again, critically able to stay on the lead lap, use one of those faster pairs, and get back into the mix here. So, again, we're on lap 18 of 75, so you still got 58 to go. So, I'll step away for just a moment, and then we'll rejoin here on the 1 to go. Alright, you see the drivers heading into turn number 3, and the lights on the pace car are off. So that's going to get things back going again. We're going to get the green flag coming to lap number 20 here. So again, showing all drivers back on the lead lap. Looks like Dude Conrad, I'm not sure if he may have retired or not. I saw him kind of hit the pits on the 1 to go. Thought he might be topping off. I'm not sure if something happened with that number 8, unfortunately. So at the moment, not showing him in the field. So Right now we're going to be having 10 cars still remaining in the field. And as I had a couple drivers there top off on the one to go with Michael Spell and Chad Wilkes. So they'll be able to go again just slightly further here on this run. However, though, up front here, you've got Ted Decker Jr. and Dwight Plush now going to be leading the front row. So they're going to come through that tri-oval one more time here, and then we'll get things going once again. Alright, green flag is out and they're back underway. You can see looks like a pretty even start for the leaders here. So look a little further back. Looks like for the most part everybody's held pretty much in station there. That 084 has fallen back a little bit. That definitely could be by choice. Maybe just wants to kind of cruise here to get things started off. So right now though, that 79 Ted Decker Jr. he's on the inside, but he moves up a little bit. I wasn't sure if it was going to open the door for James Ledford. Looks like James is going to hang onto the back bumper of that 79 for the moment. But here comes that 72 of Eric Schaus through the middle here between that 48 and the 44. And it's going to take the lead to that top, or lead the top line now coming out of turn number 3 and 4. So I think he wants to get back into control of this race because he was definitely had a pretty good pace in that 72 car. So I think that's going to be his goal here, to get back to that front and try to kind of control the pace of this race one more time here. Always see a little bit of contact between the 79 and 72 as they enter turn number 1. Both keep it straight. So it doesn't look like too much damage on either of their cars from it, but they definitely probably got the attention of both of them there. Let's say it looks like Eric is going to grab the lead back out of turn number 2 on the back stretch, so he's going to jump back to the inside line, which is now going to open that door for the 199 as we had mentioned earlier. Of Josh Sichterman. He's going to try to lead this top side again. We've seen that 199 seems to really like to run that top line here. So he's going to try to pick that momentum up again and try to get around that 79 and challenge again to that 72 car as well. It's unfortunate. It looks like the 14 of Kenny Kolakowski's kind of fallen off the back of the pack there. You saw him at the very outward of the shot there, about 5 seconds off the lead, so he's definitely not where he needs to be. We'll need to hope for a caution or something to happen to get him back into the mix of things here. But again, right now though, that 72 of Eric Schaus able to show the way again here at Talladega. So we'll jump to the back bumper again of that 72 machine as we go into the tri-oval here. You can see that 79 of Ted Deckard right to the back bumper of him. It's actually going to take a look to the outside here as they go through the start-finish line. So we'll see how they're able to get through here. As say now Ted wants to lead that top side in front of the 199 of Josh Sichterman. But at the moment, it looks like that 72 is going to have the momentum he needs to clear and stay up top, or stay to the lead here in the bottom groove. As I say, the 3 wide right behind him. With that 84, the 79, and the 199, they're going to have to be careful here entering turn number 3. Now it's the 17 that's in the bottom of that 3 wide battle here. And so you see that 199 Josh Sichterman, he just rolled out of it. He says, I don't want to risk being a part of that one. I already had to use one faster pair. I don't need another one. So he's going to roll out of it and kind of live to fight another day, if you will, and kind of keep after it here. However, you can see him shuffling again a little bit more. Charles Johnson to the inside of that 79 of Ted Decker. We just saw Ted fighting for the lead. Now he's shuffled back to about the 5th position here. And say now up into 2nd is James Ledford. You see Chad Wilkes there in 3rd. And right behind Chad, you see Charles Johnson, who's going to jump to the top side, see if he can lead this group again to that top. We've seen that bottom line definitely be pretty stout here, so I think Charles wants to try to see if he can make this top side happen, but right now it looks like the inside line definitely has the advantage at the moment. So we'll jump on board here with James Ledford in that 48 machine. You can see him going now to the outside as well of that 72. James has done really well at these super speedway races. I believe he's won 2 of them so far this season, Daytona and one of the earlier Talladega races, I believe. I also believe one of the races, kind of just the recruiting race, if you will, to kind of get drivers get a feel for everything here. So that 48 car is going to be one to keep an eye on as well. But as I say, that top line just does not have the pace, because now you see Chad Wilkes here He's dropped to the bottom. He's now up behind again that 72 car of Eric Schau. So they're pretty much lined up back the way they were here once before that caution happened. So we'll see. Keep an eye on these two here and see what they're able to do. It seemed like those two worked extremely well together. I'll say we're almost back at a carbon copy of where we were, unfortunately, right before that last caution with that 28 to the outside of the 17 and the 72. So we'll see how things go around this time by, but it seems like that outside line is starting to pick up a little bit more momentum. Oh, as you see the 189 get a little loose on the inside. Oh, contact. Oh, no, on the inside there. I saw Charles Johnson there. Caught the outside wall. Unfortunately, involved also the 48 of James Ledford. And that does bring the caution back out. So Charles spins it around there. Caught the outside wall off of 2. Unfortunately, came across the path of that 48 car. Saying I think those are yeah, it's pretty heavy damage for that 48. I think the 084 may have also been involved. However, let's go back and take a look. You see the 28 here coming out of turn number 2. You can see is pretty wide there, and I say just catches the outside wall. Just nothing he can do at that point. He's just a passenger, and unfortunately James Ledford just wrong place, wrong time. You see that 28 actually also goes over there and catches the inside wall with heavy contact here. But actually it looks like it may have just been a 2-car incident between the two of them. It looks like everybody else is able to get around this one. You're going to see a few drivers here just a little further back, kind of slowing down to make sure they don't get involved in the incident. However, like I said, it's going to bring out that second caution. Also, as you can see, a big benefit there for like Len McNeese, Kenny Kolakowski, as they had fallen off the end of the draft there. So that's going to, again, bring us back under yellow here. At 48 of James Ledford trying to catch up to the field and get back basically back into contention here, as leaders are going to wait for the pace car, and we'll probably see some more pit stops. We'll see if it's going to be fuel only, 2 tires, 4 tires. I'll say this could definitely be a little bit of strategy, but I also feel like with the smaller fields here, these cars do abuse their tires a little bit, so I would expect to see possibly 4. That being said, though, looks like we got 2 that stayed out, Eric Schaus, Ted Decker Jr. However, the rest of the field here is going to stay out. Or sorry, those 2 are going to stay out. The rest of the field here is going to pit. So we'll keep an eye on that 17 and see what his plan is for the stop, if he's going to take fuel only or maybe take 4. See that 199 of Josh Schichterman as well. Looks like the 084 went ahead and used a faster pair. I'm sure the 48 James Ledford is as well. You can see all the drivers here putting on at least right side tires. I think we're going to see them all take 4 most likely, and sure enough, here they all pop up for the right or left sides. As I again mentioned, these are not fast pit stop by any means for these cars. Let's say they've got the 1987 pit crews and everything, so it's about 22 second pit stops, but it's going to put that 17 as the first car out of the pits, so he'll restart in 3rd. So while they're cycling around again under yellow, we'll step away for just a moment. Again, I want to thank you all for watching Green White Checker TV. Tonight we've got the Area 51 Racing League 87 Cup Series tonight here at Talladega. All right, so you can see pace car lights are off. The field is entering turn number 3. So again, right now those top 2 did not pit under that last yellow, so they've got about 10 laps fewer or less on fuel. So they'll have to pit a little bit earlier than the remainder of the field here. But again, that could maybe everybody may be on the same strategy of needing 1 or 2 more stops to make it to the end. So we'll have to kind of wait and see on that one. But yeah, say right now, again, top 2, Eric Schaus, Ted Decker Jr., and then those first 2 out of the pits, the 17 of Chad Wilkes, and then the 199 of Josh Sichterman. Alright, they're coming through the trial again. We're going to wait for that green flag to fly, and we'll be back underway at Talladega. Right now we're going to start lap number 30. It'll be 46 to go. Green flag is back in the air, and you can see a little bit of wiggle. Looks like 17 didn't get through the gears as well as he was hoping for. He's going to check that bottom line up just a little bit. So I think we're going to see a little bit of movement up front. Sure enough, Josh Sichterman is going to jump straight to the bottom. It's going to see if he can grab that second position here from Ted Decker Jr., who's going to lead the top side there. And he's got Dwight Plush in that 44 right behind him. You see Josh there on the back bumper of that 72 car and try to push him through the backstretch, and same thing, kind of help the 72, but also helps himself out because that'll help him clear that 79 car. So that moves Josh now into that second position, and then right behind him you see Chad Wilkes able to follow through again as well for third. So it's going to move these 3 back into the lead here as we approach 31. So we have 45 to go here at the line. We'll see if Josh is going to kind of ride here at the moment, or if he's going to jump to that top side like we've seen him do so many times. But right now it looks like this lead pack's all pretty dedicated right now to the bottom for the moment. But it looks like there's a few drivers that are definitely thinking about moving around here. So unfortunately for Charles Johnson, he went ahead and retired after that last incident there. So it's going to leave us 9 cars here on track to still kind of battle out for the win. Again, all these drivers here still on the lead lap as well. So again, still a lot of ways to go, a lot of strategy that can definitely unfold. As like we mentioned, that 72 and the 79 have a little bit less fuel than the rest of the field here from them staying out under that previous caution. So we'll see if that comes into play potentially in this race. But yeah, definitely still a lot that can happen as things continue on here. As you can see, these guys still, again, even though they're kind of right now nose to tail there, these things are still not easy to drive, and you can definitely see these drivers having to kind of wrangle them around through the turns here. Alright, so one thing we have not really done yet is I might as well try to catch everybody here on the field. So again, right now our race leader showing as that number 72 of Eric Schaus, qualified second, currently in the lead. Right behind him you've got Josh Sichterman in that 199 machine, started 4th in second place. In third you have Chad Wilkes, started 5th, running in third. And now right now to his outside is that 79 of Ted Decker Jr. Started in the 7th position, currently running in 4th, battling for that 3rd position. And then you've got Len McNeese in that 084 Western Auto paint scheme. Started 6th, running 5th. And we mentioned a little earlier that 14 of Kenny Kolakowski. He's now back in this lead pack here. Started 8th, currently running in the 7th position. Actually, I'm sorry, 6th position. Looks like he made a spot up already. And then behind Kenny, we saw James Ledford. Unfortunately, in that last incident, surprisingly, actually did not fix his damage, or didn't use a fast repair, I should say. And he's hanging on to that draft really well, so he's going to save this fast repair, or 2 I think he might still have. He's going to try to save this thing for later on in the race. I'm a little surprised by that. You can see how much damage that nose of that car has. James, though, our pole sitter and points leader entering tonight's race, so he's definitely have to make sure he doesn't hurt himself by making the wrong decision. But so far, it looks like he's able to keep touch with these leaders right now. And behind James, we have the 88. It's going to show us number 3 on our screen, but we have Michael Spell. Michael started 11th, currently running 8th. I think just the same thing. I think Michael's kind of just on cruise control here until it's really time to go. And it's going to be the same as well for Dwight Plush. Started in 10th, currently running in 9th. So I think just the same thing. So I know Dwight, he kind of doesn't really show his hand until it's later on in the run. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Dwight contending here as things progress later on this run. So as we went through that, as you can see though, that 199 car, he's back to the top. Josh Sicherman, we've seen week in, week out, he loves to run the top side in that 199 car. So you get a little loose there entering turn number 1. And I say again, you can see that 17 is giving a lot of help to that 72 of Eric Schaus. So that's going to help that 72 down the backstretch here. As you can see, he's able to kind of pull a gap a little bit on that 199 car, and it looks like the 17 is going to be able to do the same as they go side by side entering turn number 3. And again, we talked about that top side. You got to be careful not to get loose on the entry. That's definitely a trouble spot for these cars here. But so far, so good for all these drivers. Again, I'm really impressed with James Ledford with all that nose damage and just damage in general to that car, that it's even able to keep up with this draft here. So these flying bricks are pretty impressive in the draft, it looks like. So it just came across 40 to go here, so say not quite at halfway point, but we're definitely nearing there. So again, you see these drivers definitely have their hands full with these cars. Even down the straightaway, you say they want to try to stay as locked together as they can. But again, these cars kind of wobble and wander just so much that's really hard to stay locked on well with that car in front of you. However, though, Josh is definitely starting to get help from that 199, or sorry, from the 084 machine of Len McNeese. That's starting to put Josh in contention here to try to see if he can sneak a lap lead and maybe see if he can sneak around that 72 car as well. As they go through the start-finish line that time by, Josh Sicherman is going to lead that lap. So I don't think he's going to quite clear that 72 of Eric Schaus at the moment, but that will give that 199 car a lap lead in this race for sure this evening. As you can see, Eric Schaus fighting back on the inside right now as they go through the backstretch. Again, you can see that little bit, these cars just wandering a little bit down the backstretch. So Eric's holding a really solid line on the inside line again with Chad Wilkes, two of our definitely stronger drivers in this league. As I see the 199 slides again entering that turn number 3. Got me a little bit nervous. They're able to keep it in the right direction. But yeah, we've seen a lot of these races here. That 17, 72, we'll see those two cars up towards the front in multiple series here. Indy cars, these 87 cars, and of course the Cup cars as well. So I say Josh is definitely going to have his work cut out for him trying to work around these guys up front here. So let's go ahead and take a lap on board this 199 car as he runs this top line, and say we'll watch the hands as well as see him just try to wrangle this car here through the turns, especially here entering turn number 3. You see this time he enters actually a lot lower there. It gets to the back of that 17 car of Chad Wilkes as he comes out of turn number 4. So I think you'll see him drifts up just a little bit, but he's going to sneak back in and pick up the draft of that 17. I think we'll see is once he gets back to that draft, he's going to try to jump back to the outside, just kind of pick up the momentum and then take a peek once they're there. And as I was saying, we are just across the halfway point in this race. We got 37 laps remaining in the event. Again, right now we have the whole field here all within a second and a half of each other. So really anyone's race at this point. I think a lot of guys just trying to put themselves in that right position at the right time. And right now, again, kind of leading the race and kind of just been leading the way most of the race here has been that 72 of Eric Schaus. Got the lead back after that restart, and he's been pretty much just holding serve ever since so far. But again, he's got about 10 laps less fuel than those behind him, other than Ted Decker Jr. So we'll have to see if he's going to have to short pit before some of these other guys, if that's going to make a difference here as well. As I say, it looks like now Josh kind of not really pinned to the bottom, but he's going to have to hang it to the bottom. Oh, as I say that, the 084 Len McNeese contacted the outside wall. We saw that happen earlier, unfortunately, with Charles Johnson. However, Len's able to keep it pointed in the right direction, and saying I don't think that's going to hurt him too badly here. Again, we've seen how well these cars are able to handle, even with the damage there. You can see he's definitely got some pretty decent right side damage. However, you look just behind him and look at James Ledford in that 48 car. That car is beat up, and it's still hanging on to the draft here. So if you're Len, I mean, this might be one to save that fast repair for a little later on in the race, just to give yourself a chance here. Like I said, James Ledford still showing in that 6th position, still in the draft as well. So I say never count out that 48 car, especially here at these plate races. Like I said, I think James has won, I believe, 2 of the plate races that we've had so far this season. So I say, like we mentioned as well. Oh, I see one down on the. Oh no, it's actually our race leader there, Eric Schaus. Oh, and Josh Sichterman as well. To see what happened there, we stay green, unfortunately. Let's go back and see what happened. I have a sinking feeling somebody got loose off of turn number 2 and probably made contact. So let's go back and take a look, because actually we had a, while we were watching all that too, we had a lead change as well. So apologies for missing that. So you can see the two here entering turn number 1 together. Oh, you see actually, yeah, Chad Wilkes grabs the lead there, and then coming out or through turns 1 and 2, you see that 199 to the outside. And let's see if he makes contact with the outside wall. Oh, actually, no. The 72 drifts up a little bit into the 199. And say, oh, unfortunately, heavy contact for the both of them. Say, like I said, though, unfortunately, since they spun to the inside line, there no caution. So we're going to keep things green. You see, Eric here is going to go ahead and get a fast repair done to say he's got motor damage in that car. Josh is able to keep going. Does not have motor damage, but obviously way off the lead here, showing about 20 seconds out of the lead. And saying that 72 is definitely going to go a lap down here with that pit stop. But again, we mentioned he's had about 25 laps or so he may have been close to his fuel window anyway. So again, still not ideal by any means, but again, still a long ways to go here. 33 to go at the line. Say definitely still potential for some cautions as well. So I say I wouldn't be surprised to see these drivers keep after it here and just kind of hope that the strategy works out in their favor to get back into contention here. Oh, as I say that, the 084 again gets loose there, entering turn 3, gets it up against the wall, tries to make sure he doesn't come across the track anybody, so Ledman Geek's able to hang on to there. Again, some more damage for that 084 car, so able to keep it pointing in the right direction still. I'll say again, though, I'm sure a lot of drivers there, I think some drivers they're hoping for the yellow, other drivers were definitely, that was not what they were hoping to see. So right now, Chad Wilkes still holding on as our race leader. Right behind him, we have Ted Decker Jr. And unfortunately, it looks like Eric Shaw still in the pits there, showing 2 down here. Let me take a look. Yeah, so it's still showing service being done to that car. Not sure what may have gone on there. So unfortunately, as I said, it looks like he's, well, let's see if he's got a fast repaired. Oh, well, it looks like unfortunately that 72 has retired possibly from the race as well. Again, really unfortunate. Say he was definitely one of the more dominant cars. And as I said, here comes our first taker for the pit stops. It's Ted Decker Jr. Again, he had yet to pit. He's getting in pretty hot there. I think he may have just got down to speed there. But I think he pretty much got everything he could there on that pit entry. So we're going to see some pit service for the 79 car. We'll see if he's going to go ahead and go with fuel only, 2 tires, 4 tires. We'll kind of watch this as I'm watching the leaders up front. So far, not much has changed towards the leaders here. So he is taking at least right side tires. We'll see if the lefts go on as well, or if maybe just going to take some rights and fuel only. We'll watch at the moment. Yep, left side. So 4 tires here. And again, we talked about, though, with that strategy staying out, he's going to go a lap down as these leaders are staying out. Again, they are able to go about 10 more laps than that 79 car. So as they come through the tri-oval here, you're going to see that 79 car just heading out of the pits right there. So again, that's going to put that 79 Ted Decker Jr. a lap down so far. But again, it's everybody's going to cycle through at some point. But again, also the other driver that's going to be kind of hoping for a yellow is going to be that 199 of Josh Sichterman. Unfortunately, had that contact. So he's going to try to get things going again right now. It has still stayed out here, but is about, I'd say, 2/3 of a lap down at this point. And you'll see here that's that 14 car, Kenny Kolakowski. He was trying to make a move to that top side. We mentioned also Michael Spell. Just kind of cruising. Looks like he's ready to start making his move, and he's now up into that second position. Also, a little bit of right side damage to that car, but again, it seems like these cars still run pretty well even with that damage. So he's doing everything he can right now to try to put a challenge on that 17 of Chad Wilkes. And again, that I don't know how this 48 car is running the way it is right now, but James Ledford here fighting for that 3rd position. Looks like he's got that 3rd spot. And it looks like now Michael's trying to see if he can get the momentum here to try to make a charge on that 17 of Chad Wilkes. So we have 29 to go. Oh no, say Rachel just gave me an update what happened to that 72 car. Unfortunately, Eric didn't have his fast repair turned on, so with that motor damage, yeah, I gave him a 30 minutes worth of repair, so he had to, unfortunately, say no choice but to retire. So that's the danger of the fast repairs, is sometimes you want to leave them unchecked just because you don't want it to do a fast repair for, let's say, a little bit of a fender damage. But yeah, so that's one of those things where I've had that happen to myself as well, where you just don't have it set on, and unfortunately it bites you at the wrong time. So definitely hate it for Eric, because they had a really good run going this evening. But again, I say it's definitely some more opportunities for him the remainder of this week here. We've got obviously the Thursday series tomorrow night, and of course the Super Speedway Cup Series on Sunday, and we start the week all over again with Tuesday for the Indy cars. Still up front though, Chad Wilkes still leading the way over Michael Spell. James Ledford still hanging on to that third position. Again, Rachel, sorry for his bad luck there this evening. Maybe make him play host now to the family, and have a good evening at least. And if you guys hang around, of course, would definitely love to have that. But at the same time, I understand if you got some other stuff you got to take care of course, right now. I see his leader's able to get around Josh Sichterman. Unfortunately, puts Josh a lap down. His goal is going to be to try to see if he can just hang on to that draft, but I don't think that car has quite the pace as our leaders here up front. So I try to keep a look at his mile an hour here. Showing about 194, 195 through the turns. The leaders, let me wait for the leaders here to get into the turns as well, but I don't think that 199 car has that top end right now, because actually Chad Wilkes here is going 210 almost entering turn number 1 there. So these things are, and actually holding about 200 miles an hour through the turns as well. So yeah, that 199 is definitely down on speed, but just trying to save what he can here, and maybe use the fast repair wisely, and see if maybe get maybe a timely caution to get him back into the mix here. So I think we'll see the leaders here in just a few more laps. And the other thing to mention is I believe the leaders might be able to make it to the end after this pit stop as well. They've gone about 22, 23 laps on fuel, and we've got 26 to go, 25 at the line. So I think that fuel strategy, should we stay green, I think this fuel strategy is going to work out pretty well for these leaders that pitted on that last yellow. So even, unfortunately for Ted Deckard there, he's already made his green flag pit stop, but I think he's going to need a splash to make it to the end here. You see these looks like top 5 cars all still running right together here. So I think things are starting to settle in a little bit now after all that's been going on there. I think they're just going to try to take advantage of them all being in contention here. So right now, obviously, these drivers in a really good spot are Chad Wilkes, Michael Spell, James Ledford, Dwight Plush, and Kenny Kolakowski. Those are the top 5 right now, and they're all here in this lead pack, as you see, all within a second of each other as well. So you see Chad Wilkes gets a little higher through the trivals, actually going to let Michael Spell catch up just a little bit. But you notice though, these drivers are actually really kind of hugging the bottom of the track here. It seems like that's the preferred spot for them. As I said, that Len McNeese here in the 084, he's going to pit here with 24 to go. So I think that's going to be right on that window to make it to the end. So I would expect to see these leaders here probably as well in a few laps, but maybe they'll wait another lap or two just to give them a little bit of a wiggle room in case they need it at the end. So keep an eye on these leaders as they come through 3 and 4, see if anybody's going to duck off. Looks like actually all the leaders might be coming. Yep, here they all come actually. So we've got a busy pit road. Now it's going to be make sure you get down to pit road speed in time. Looks like they've all been able to do so. Pretty well organized here in this pit stop as well. I would have to think you're going to see James Ledford here in that 48 take a fast repair, get that car back in good shape, and give him better contention, if you will. So as you can see that 17 hits his pit marks there pretty well. Watch if 48 overshoots his pit stop. That's going to be an issue for him to try to regain with the leaders here. So we'll keep an eye and see how all these drivers kind of cycle through. As you see Josh Sichterman as well, he's going to use that fast repair now. Same thing for him though, he's entered the pits a little late, so he's not going to have the draft of these leaders once he's all cycled through. As you see 17 is coming out now. Dwight Plush with a really solid stop. Looks like Dwight actually going to jump out of the pits here with the lead there. So yeah, let's put that 44 here in the lead. And now it's again going to be that race to get through the gears. Looks like these top two are going to be pretty much right together. And you've got the 88 and the 14 right together as well. And then again, that 48 is going to have to do a little bit of hustling here through this pit exit to try to get back up to these guys that grab their draft here, which it looks like he's going to catch that 14 car. So we'll see if they're able to work together to catch those top two, because they're able to sneak out about a 3-second lead. And again, here comes also with a big head of steam is Ted Decker Jr. Again, he made that earlier pit stop, so he's going to try to grab the draft from these guys. He's going about 209 here entering turn number 3. As those cars in front of him are just still getting up to speed, just now hitting about 200 there. But again, though, Dwight Plushto now showing as our race leader. Right behind him, though, you've got Chad Wilkes, who's kind of taken over as the control car, if you will, after the 72 had to retire from the race. But again, right now they've got a pretty good gap here, about 3 seconds over Michael Spell, James Ledford, and Kenny Kolakowski. So that's going to be the next approach for them, is those three are going to have to try to work together here and chase down these front two. I believe Josh Sickerman has been able to line up with the 084 of Len McNeese, and he indeed has. So Len's still showing on the lead lap. Josh is the only car 1 lap down as things run. So again, right now Josh still in a pretty decent spot. Again, should something happen up front, should the yellow come out, as long as he's not involved, he'd be able to get back into the mix as well. But right now, though, again, as I said, that actually here goes Chad Wilkes. He's going to look to the inside. It looks like Dwight's going to hang on to that spot for the moment. So right now, 21 to go, 20 to go at the line. So you see that gap's actually starting, or kind of extending a little bit. So now, oh yeah, something actually happened. It looks like I see Michael Spell a ways back now. So he's fallen off this group here, unfortunately. So now that's leaving James Ledford now to lead the second pack, and he's got Kenny Kolakowski right behind him. So right now it's about a 4-second gap between these leaders and the second group. So we're going to see what the 17 car, Chad Wilkes, what his plan is going to be. I think he might try to ride here and just kind of try to not fight too hard with this 44 car and see if they can keep this gap between the two of them in front of the field, though. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And actually, I think something happened to Len McNeese in that 084 car. So I'm going to jump back and try to take a look here. I think, unfortunately... So watch him as he goes through the trial. I think he just got, yeah, he just gets loose through the trial, but you see him spin it, catches the grass, spins around there. Say able to keep it on all 4 wheels, but say unfortunately though for Len, that's going to put him, I believe right now, still tail end of the lead lap. As they now actually back up front now. Looks like now Chad Wilkes is taking over the lead from Dwight Plush. Let me take a look at that 44 car, make sure his car is still clean. But you see it's a pretty big gap now. Dwight's now dropped to about a second back. So we're going to do one more replay here and see how this lead change happened, see if anything happened to Dwight here. As they enter turn number 3. Oh yeah, you can see the 44 car gets extremely loose, able to hang on to it somehow, keeps it pointed in the right direction, uses the apron, doesn't get into the wall at all either. So really great driving by that 44 to keep that thing pointed in the right direction. So what this has done now, though, is you can see Chad Wilkes about a 1.5 seconds ahead of him. However, here comes James Ledford, Kenny Kolakowski. So now it's going to be a 3-car draft here. Going to try to chase down this leader in that number 17 machine. So again, we talked about James Ledford having really good results at these plate races. Right now is in that second position here, or third position here. It's going for that second position. Looks like Dwight's going to jump to the top side. And I think he's just going to move over and let that 48 go. You can see the lap times right now, or the gap I should say. James Ledford is definitely closing the gap on that 17 of Chad Wilkes. That last time around, wow, James Ledford ran at 45.5 to Chad's 47.1. So that just shows how much the draft is playing a role right now in this. As they see Dwight Plush still is going to hang on to this draft here. He's going to still be in contention as well. So right now we got 4 cars here going to fight for the lead. I'm going to come around to 17 to go. As see, they've already caught that 17 of Chad Wilkes here. So I think that draft, we just saw how much that played a role in things. Let's have watch the lap times this time by. Saying James Ledford is going to try to use this momentum to full advantage and jump to the top side of that 17 car through turns 1 and 2. and see if he can kind of use the momentum all the way through the backstretch here. And sure enough, he does. That's going to move James Ledford into the lead. He's going to drop to the bottom. Looks like Kenny Kolakowski able to follow through as well. He wants to get back behind the 48, I felt like, as well, but just didn't feel comfortable clearing himself there. So now he's going to see if he can get back down in front of that 17 of Chad Wilkes, which he does. So again, we got all the top 4 here, all within just 0.2 of each other, actually. I say once the time starts updating a little bit better. I say showing Len McNeese pitting there. I think he may have towed, so that's going to update here in a second. But yeah, so right now, though, James Ledford now showing as our race leader. Kenny Kolakowski in second, Chad Wilkes third, Dwight Plush in fourth, Michael Spell in the 5th position. Unfortunately, I say he's kind of out of the draft, though, at the moment. And then you've got Ted Decker Jr. in 6th position. He's going to have to pit one more time, I believe. And then Josh Sichterman in 8th, 1 lap down, but I think he's going to grab a spot with Len McNeese. I believe he may have retired from the event. And then we'll see if that 79 has to pit one more time. He might be able to grab that spot as well and jump up into that 6th position here. But again, this time around we got 15 to go here at Talladega. So again, still plenty that can happen. So even with these only 4 cars fighting for the lead, I mean, that's still a really good fight here. And again, with the way these cars race, anything can happen. As you see, that 14 wiggles there through turns 1 and 2, able to keep it pointed straight though. Again, that's kind of what I'm talking about. These things are still a handful of drive, as my co-announcer's very excited about things that are happening on in the background. But right now, say again, these top 3 all right in the bottom. You see there the 44 Dwight Plush. He's going to run this middle line. I think Dwight right now is just trying to kind of bide his time and then kind of put his car in the right spot at the right time at the very end of this race. See up front though, these top 3 all nose to tail. As they see Dwight's kind of falling off just a little bit. I say not by much by any means. He's only about half second still off the lead. And we've seen how much that draft comes into play as well. So I'll say we'll hop on this rear bumper of the 48 car. We'll kind of watch as we see all these drivers kind of dice around, see if they try to figure out where to go. See a little bit of right rear damage to that 14 car. Shouldn't be hurting them too bad. A little bit of right front hood damage as well. Again, as we've been seeing, these cars have run really fast with way worse damage. So right now, again, these guys are still doing everything they can. So yeah, so coming around here, we'll be at 13 to go this time by. Still got James Ledford leading, Kenny Kolakowski, Chad Wilkes, Dwight Plush. Those are our top 4. Pretty much, I think, unless anything changes, those are going to be our contenders here for the win this evening. Again, yeah, so right now, as I'd say, that here comes Chad Wilkes. He's going to try to make that top line work on that 14 car. You see Dwight Plush going to follow through. I think you're going to see Chad here try to grab a little draft, jump to the top, try to use that momentum here. See, slides it there off of turn number 2. He's going to try to grab the draft if he can of that 48 car. But you see that 48 car is going to kind of be pulling that 14 car as they go through the backstretch, entering turn number 3. And right now, Chad's kind of all alone, and here comes that 44. He's going to fill that spot, so Dwight Plush is going to try to grab this 3rd position now. So yeah, so say it looks like right now that bottom line is definitely where you want to be. I think you can make the top work if you get help, but right now, I'll say that bottom line is definitely shown to be pretty strong here tonight at Talladega. As I say that, here comes Dwight. He's going to try to make the top side happen here. So we'll see if he's able to do anything with it. But you see Chad Wilkes, he's going to jump back to the bottom. And I say we'll see if he's able to pull a draft off anybody. But it looks like, again, they're all hugging this yellow line pretty much right now. So now advantage goes back to Chad to grab that 3rd spot back from the 44 Dwight Plush. So, ooh, close call there. But it looked like between that 48 and the 14 entering turn number 3 there, I think that 14 looked like he was just trying to peek inside there, but just didn't have enough room without going underneath that yellow line. So again, we're going to still have that 48 of James Ledford leading the way. Behind him, Kenny Kolakowski, Chad Wilkes there, and Dwight Plush still holding on to the top 4. A little further back, we got these 3 all working together now as well. You've got Josh Sichterman, Michael Spell, and Ted Decker Jr. This is 5th, 6th, and 7th position. Unfortunately, that 109 is still showing 1 lap down. But again, still 11 to go here. Anything can happen, especially with these leaders here dicing it up out front. Right now, again, Kenny Kolakowski trying to see what he can do to get around that 48 car. But at the same time, though, if he makes the wrong move, that 17 car, Chad Wilkes, I believe, will definitely take advantage of anything that he can here. right on board with the 17 of Chad Wilkes as they come through the trial. This is going to bring him around to 10 to go at the line. You see Kenny there. So you can see now this driver's starting to slide up a little bit here. So I wonder if these tires might be starting to show their wear a little bit, where they maybe can't hold the bottom line as well as they've been wanting to. So we'll kind of keep an eye and see if that comes into play as well. But right now, though, again, I think James Ledford, I think what he's going to need to do is exactly what he's doing, is protect that line, the bottom line on the straightaways. See if he can maybe let it wash up a little bit through the turns, but then get right back to that bottom once he exits the corner and can get back down to the bottom. So I'm saying this also might be a little bit of strategy, just these drivers trying to figure out when's the right time to make that kind of that slingshot move, if you will, because these cars, like we said, they create a lot of draft. So you can really get some pretty big momentum. You see that 17 car is going to slide up a little bit on the top side through the tri-oval. So let's see if he can do something with that 14 car, but still can't quite do it yet. Alright, he's able to get a good exit there out of turn number 2. He's going to get to the outside of that 14 car. Now his goal is going to be to try to keep that car pointed straight, not slide it too much, keep the momentum up. Because let's say if he can keep that 14 pinned to the bottom, I think he could get a pretty good run here out of turn number 4. You see he's got just a nose ahead, so I think if he can keep doing what he's doing and kind of hit these marks as best as possible, you can see they're actually kind of both closing on that 48 James Ledford. Looks like he's just cleared the 14 car, but now he's already door-to-door with that 48 car for the lead as we have 8 laps to go. So you can see Chad Wilkes getting some really good runs here on that top side. Let's say didn't get quite the exit he was hoping for there out of turn number 2. Still just slightly ahead of that 14 of Kenny Kolakowski. But he's going to have to do, I think, is he's going to have to try to keep these inside line cars pinned a little bit more to the bottom, because I think that's going to be his advantage. If they can if he can keep them pinned down, they'll lose a little bit of that momentum on the exit, and that's where that 17 car is going to be able to take advantage of it. But right now, you see that 14 starting to fight back on the inside, but again, he gets a good run here through the tri-oval. Looks like he's going to clear him and get right to the bottom here. He wants to make sure he protects that spot there as soon as he can. And I think he's going to try to get that next charge here on the 48 of James Ledford. So I think now it's just going to be all about timing, trying to make the right move at the right time. You see Dwight Plesh again, still right in striking distance as well. We'll see if Dwight's going to try to make a late move as well. I think he just is kind of biding his time till it's really time to go after it. But again, these guys are doing a great job here, fighting it for everything they can. I'm going to come around here to 6 to go at the line. And you can see these top 2 are able to kind of stretch it just a little bit away now from Kenny Kolakowski. You can see they got a couple car lengths between them. You see James Ledford there. He jumps. I think he got loose there in the travel. He jumps to the bottom. This might be exactly what Chad Wilkes needed. It is. He's going to clear that 48 car, get to the bottom here. We'll see if the 14 is able to follow along as well. Right now, they still stay door to door. So we'll see how the momentum is going to work for this 14 car out of turn number 2. But I think right now that 48's got that draft of that 17 car. I think that's going to bring him right back into the mix here, entering turn number 3. Yeah, sure enough, that 48 James Ledford able to hold on to the second position here over that over the 14, I should say, of Kenny Kolakowski. So right now Chad Wilkes showing as our race leaders. We have 5 to go, but you can see right there the 14 gets a huge run through the tri-oval. He's going to grab that second spot, so he decides to stay to the outside there. So we'll see if that's going to hurt the 14 there, because I think you saw last time around Chad Wilkes, he jumped straight to the bottom as soon as he could there. And say I'm watching that 14 car, and just saying this is where that draft here is playing a big role here as they go back into turn number 3. And yeah, sure enough, it looks like that 48's going to grab that second spot back here off of turn number 3 and 4. So yeah, give the lead here back, or sorry, give the second place back to James Ledford, as again they're going to come around now to 4 to go. Again, I feel like advantage is definitely going to that number 17 car, but we'll just, again, we have to see what the momentum's able to do. As you can see now, Chad Wilkes kind of trying to arc the turn 1 entry just a little bit, give himself as much speed as possible, because again, You see that 14 car, Kenny Kolakowski, is getting really good exits through the trial one. Here comes that 44 Dwight Plush. He decided now's the time to make his move as well. So I think we're going to see all 4 of these guys now fighting for the lead here as we come to 3 to go at that line as we come through 3 and 4. Right now that inside line still showing slight advantage though. But I think that 44 is going to try to see if he can push that 14 a little further forward. We'll see if he I wonder if the 44 is just going to try to go where the momentum is. But right now he looks like he's pretty committed to the top side here. Again, we'll see how the momentum goes after the tri-oval. Again, it looks like he gets really good speed through that tri-oval entering turn number 1. He just needs to try to hold that momentum through turn 1 and 2 onto this backstretch. I say kind of a 2x2 battle now up front. So I think right now that 14 car is going to hope that the 44 can get a little bit closer to him. So I think if they can do that, they can definitely make this draft happen. You see the 14 gets a little loose there on the entry. You see some smoke ahead as well. I think the 88 of Michael Spell had some issues there. He is in the pits. So right now we're going to come around to 2 to go here at Talladega. Still Chad Wilkes leading the field. Right behind him is that 48 of James Ledford. So we're going to watch from the back of the 17 car and see if anybody's able to make some moves here as we cross that 2 to go. You see that 14 car still trying to work the top side. We've seen him get super runs there on the top through the tri-oval, but then unfortunately once they get to turn number 1, the momentum goes right back to that bottom side. You see it looks like Dwight Plush staying on the inside line as well. They're going to all work together here. We'll see if that's going to probably cycle up 14 back a little bit. Right now, as they come through 3 and 4, they're going to try to get to the white flag here if they can this next time by as they come through turn number 4. They're going to try to get to that tri-oval here. And again, if I'm James Ledford, I almost wonder if I kind of arc this tri-oval here just a little bit. As he does it right there. He moves up a little bit, see if he can get that exit that he's looking for. But you see Chad Wilkes, he moves up as well. He's going to try to take as much room as he can as we are on the white flag. So this is the final lap here at Talladega. Right now, Chad Wilkes leading the way, James Ledford right behind him. Then you've got Dwight Plush and the 14 Kelly Kolakowski fighting for the 3rd position. As you can see here, the business definitely starting to pick up. So now it's trying to make the right move at the right time. As you see that 17 trying to make sure he gives himself a little bit of an arc. If you can always see the 14 there in the wall. So I think it's going to be a 3-car battle here now to the finish. So we're watching Chad Wilkes there. James Ledford, Dwight Plush as they come through the tri-oval. Right now, Chad Wilkes doing everything he can. You can see here comes 48 James Ledford. He's going to try to make a last-ditch effort through the tri-oval. Chad Wilkes going to hang on to the win, though. James Ledford is going to grab 2nd place. Dwight Plush grabs 3rd. Kenny Kolakowski, brings it home in 4th. And I believe, with the issues for Michael Spell, that's actually going to move Josh Sichterman here up into the top 5 for the finish of this race. And in 6th will be Ted Decker Jr., and then Michael Spell is going to bring it home in 7th. That was a pretty wild finish there to the end of that race. Really exciting. You can see the move there that 48 was trying to make there. We'll go back just a little bit and try to watch it one more time here. Because we saw the top gate, you can see he really kind of tries to arc and then try to get it right to the bottom, see if he can cut underneath that 17 car. We saw the top side work pretty well through the travel a few times, but Chad Wilkes, though, just holding such a good line there. But you can see all 3 of these drivers right nose to tail there at the finish, doing everything they could. But yeah, sure enough, though, a great finish for all 3 of them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to see if we can pull up some of our top 3 finishers and have a chat with them if they're still around. So let me take a look over here. Alright, so I think unfortunately Dwight Plush may have had to step away already, so we'll do those. We will grab our 2nd place finisher, though, James Ledford. So again, started in the 1st position, finishes 2nd. Again, points leader going into the race. Actually had the fastest lap of the race as well. So pretty good run for you tonight, James. I at one point we had all that damage on the car, and you kind of saved your fast repair there to the last pit stop. I don't know how you're able to kind of keep up with the draft with that car. That thing was beat up. I don't know if you could see from your vantage point there.
Yeah, I thought I didn't have much damage on it, so I decided to save the fast repair because I think the last race here at Talladega I had 0 left at the end. So I thought maybe if there's more wrecks, I might need to save it.
Oh yeah, I don't know how you're able to hang. Also, you have to watch the broadcast. You can see what that 48 car looked like with that damage going into it, because it was definitely not in very good shape. But that was a really good fight there between the three of you at the end. Yourself, Chad Wilkes there, Dwight Plesh, and also Kenny Kolakowski. Obviously, you had to chase that 17 car down a little bit after that pit stop. But I say once you did that, you used the momentum and just went right on by him. It seemed like, was it just you didn't have enough cars to really get that kind of the what do you call it, the slingshot type moves to work? Was it just too small of a lead pack there to make that happen?
I think if you're close behind somebody, it's hard to make that outside pass work. When I passed Chad, I think I had a big run on him.
Yeah, you definitely had a lot of momentum. I'd say you were running some of the fastest laps of the race. I think when you were chasing them down, I was watching the lap times, and I think you were like over a second quicker. It was significant. But yeah, I mean, you guys put on a really good fight there, and it seemed like the bottom line was definitely the place to be tonight. It seemed pretty much all the drivers there were protecting that inside line. Was that the same thing for you? Was that pretty much the line you needed to run to kind of hold that lead if possible?
Yeah, I tried the high line once, and I couldn't really make any passes up there, so I went back to the bottom.
Well, it worked out pretty well. Saying that again, I mean, you're definitely the car to beat here at these plate races. I think this is now you've had 2 wins here, and now you finished second place. So, I say you've definitely got something figured out with these two.
Yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself for getting loose there on the triover or wherever when I was leading.
Yeah, I saw that happen a little bit. Wasn't sure exactly how it all worked out. So he did a really good job trying to recover and kind of go back after the lead there. It was a really good fight between you and Chad there at the end. So it was a lot of fun to be a part of. So, however, before I let you go, definitely want to give you opportunity. Any thanks, shouts you'd like to give for that second place run tonight?
Just Area 51 for the races, and you for broadcasting.
So I always enjoy being a part of it. So congrats on the second place run, James. You did a really good run tonight. Look forward to catching you again next week, and we'll probably see you up front there as well.
All right, thanks, Kyle.
All right, that's our second place finisher, James Ledford, and I think we're gonna pull up a tandem interview here with our our winner, I should say, and I believe maybe a crew chief here on the box. So we're going to pull over. Oops, I moved myself in the wrong room there. Let me fix this real quick. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and pull in our race winner. I'm also going to pull the crew chief in. I'm guessing they're the 17 Chad Wilkes with Mitchell Wilkes on the box, able to pull off the win this evening. I mean, I say you obviously had to work your way back up from the front when you had that contact through the tri-oval, had that heavy damage. And then of course having to hold off the 48 of James Ledford when they had that big draft group kind of chasing you down there. But I mean, obviously able to get the lead back there at the end, but that was definitely not an easy one for you to do. It looked like you had to work pretty hard on this one tonight. Uh-oh. Did I lose you, Chad?
I can hear you now.
Oh, I wasn't working. I don't know why sometimes doesn't work for me. So anyway, I was mentioning that you definitely not a kind of a coasting to the finish type race there. You definitely had to work hard to kind of recover to get back up to the front after that contact through the tri-oval. So I mean, I guess first off, just take us through your race and then those final laps trying to hold off that 48 car.
Yeah, just spent the whole race trying to stay in second where I wanted to be so I could save tires and save fuel. And I got hit there trying to just ride the first time, and then I worked my way back up, and basically I just wanted to stay in second the whole time. And I think whenever Eric and Josh got into whatever, kind of cleared things up there a little bit, and tried to pull away some, but I knew everybody was going to catch us back when we pitted and before we pitted, and everybody got back to us, and we pitted as a group and came out, and I came out behind Dwight, which is where I wanted to be in second, and then James and 14 got a run on us, and I was glad because Dwight kind of made a mistake and about myself a little bit, so I was glad they caught me and passed me, and so I just wanted to slowly third and slowly get to second. The 14 car was kind of struggling to put a lot of pressure on James. He was just kind of chilling, getting to go up off the corners pretty hard, and not having to hold it down and those kinds of things. So I wanted to get to second so I could push James and make him fight to keep the car down. And at some point there, he made a little mistake, and I was going to wait until, probably 4 laps to go. And, if my tires were still in good shape, and do what I needed, whatever I wanted to do. And he made a mistake there, and I saw that my fuel was already in a good place. So jumped to the outside and took it.
Yeah, it was a really good battle for you. So I saw Mitch there in there with you. Say, was he doing some crew chiefing spotting for you this evening?
Yeah, I've been meaning on some of these for the thanks and shout outs. He's been in on a lot of these Wednesday night ones because he doesn't run in them, and some of the Tuesday night ones too. He's been in on, and I haven't done super well in a lot of them, or things that happen, say, that have caused bad results, but like last night. But yeah, I mean, he's in here a lot on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Yeah, he helps me do some math in my head if I need it, or spot and give me some company during the cautions.
No, that's awesome to have us. That's a definitely way to do it. So, what about on your end, Mitch? Was there anything that you were trying to keep an eye on for Chad for the race tonight? So I'm not sure if he stepped away or not.
Should be there. No, I've got my VR on, so I don't know.
I dragged him over here, but I say he may have stepped away as well. So I say he did his crew chiefing duties. I say he had to probably go grab a drink or something like that. But I say before I let you go,
he'll be watching this broadcast.
Yeah, I'll say before I say give him another minute here just to be safe. I'll say that being said, though, definitely want to give you an opportunity for thanks and shouts you'd like to give for pulling off the win though tonight.
Yeah, thanks for the league. Pretty good race tonight. Need more of those, and thanks for the broadcast, and thanks to my dad for keeping me company in these Tuesday, or a lot of the Tuesday and Wednesday night races. And
yeah, say good result. Honestly, I was kind of glad he finished fourth last night. I was like, this is not the interview I want to do. So say good way to bounce back though tonight, picking up the win here this evening at Talladega. So we'll give one more try, see if you're back around or not, Mitch, by chance. All right. Well, we'll catch him next time then for sure. But again, though, great job though tonight, Chad. Congrats on that win. Again, also really cool you're able to share this with your dad and have him help you out there. So definitely enjoy it and look forward to watching you again here soon.
Thanks, Chad.
All right, that's our number 17, Chad Wilkes, winning the race tonight here at Talladega. However, of course, got to go through our final results. So again, slightly reduced field, unfortunately, this evening. However, Chad Wilkes able to hold off James Ledford, Dwight Plesh for those top 3 positions. In fourth, Kenny Kolakowski, unfortunately, just made a little contact with the wall there through 3 and 4, coming to the checker, trying to get everything he could. Josh Strickman didn't get the yellow he was hoping for to get himself back into position. However, able to still grab a top 5 finish. Ted Decker Jr. in 6th, Michael Spell in 7th, Len McNeese 8th, Eric Schaus in the 9th position. And then in the top 10, you have Charles Johnson. So trying to see if I can fix. There we go. And then we've got the remainder of the field. Dude Conrad looks like he had to step away after that first pit stop. And unfortunately, I said technical difficulties for that number 76 of Jim Brooks for this evening. Wasn't able to make it into the race this evening. However, again, really good race though by these drivers here with these 87 cars at Talladega. They're definitely not the easiest ones to hang on to, even at the plate races, but did what they needed to tonight. So again, I want to congratulate our top three: Chad Wilkes, James Ledford, and Dwight Plesh for pulling off their results this evening. Of course, I also have to mention Kenny Kolakowski, those four finishing on the lead lap here, all in contention there at the end. So until tomorrow night, we'll be back with the Cup cars. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And remember, if possible, please try to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands. And until tomorrow evening, I hope you all have a good evening.